Hello there everybody, Sam'sTrains here and welcome back to Sam'sTrains Live. We are again here for another Friday and I've got lots to come today. I've got some live trains, of course, and you can see them down on the track there. Ooh, that was spooky. Was that just a figment of my imagination or did that Wickham trolley appear to move in front of our eyes? That was odd, I don't know. And I've also got more to show from the exhibition of last weekend at the NEC. We shot so much that I didn't even put, I put a fraction of what we filmed in the video. The best bits, of course, some of it isn't worth using, but some of it maybe should go out there, so I'm going to be showing you some of that today as well. Obviously, I'm going to be chatting to you guys. Let's pull that up right now. So if there's anybody that wants a shout out, jump in the chat, and we can totally do that. Also, what was I going to say here? Yes, I want to mention Compass Model Railways in Rotherfield. I met somebody at the exhibition who was telling me about it, and I've checked the reviews of their model shop and it's universally positive, so check them out. It's a good model shop. I promised to give them a shout out, so there we go. That is Compass Model Railways. Also, I am taking requests during today's stream, so if you like the channel and you fancy supporting it, feel free to send me a super chat for £5. That's the little $sign down there, £5 or the equivalent, and you can have your 5 minutes of fame as you choose whatever engine and rolling stock you want, and I'll run it on one of these streams for you. And as promised last time, I am going to be picking not the most creative request this week, but the most enjoyable request, and the person who submits it, here we've Alright, I'm having a bit of a mare there. I've forgotten which button I need to press. I think it's this one. It was. I pressed every button on the keyboard except the one I needed. Yeah, you'll be able to choose any of these wagons except for, I forget now which one it was. Yeah, it was the Oxford Ricket wagon. So you can have the Hornby Challenge, the Oxford North British wagon, Hornby Coca-Cola, Graham Farish N-Gauge wagon, because I've got a few of those, of course, and the Headley's wagon. It's only the Ricket one that isn't available. So see what you can come up with. And yeah, the most enjoyable one of tonight, which is subjective, but I realised that not everybody always wants to be super crazy and off the wall all the time. So just something that's pleasant is going to be today's prize earner. So, A2020 Vision, thank you so much. Can we see the GP40 pushing the Jordan spreader to clear the snow away? That's a good idea. I've not had this Jordan spreader out for a while. Train Boy, thank you so much. How are you doing today? Can you please do the 00 Thomas pulling the N Thomas on a flatbed? I don't think my 00 and N gauge Thomases have met each other yet, so that will be a cool one. That is enjoyable. Thank you, Train Boy. Simeon Jackson, thank you so much. Finally catching up one live. No loco, just all the brake vans. Interesting, Simeon. Thank you very much. I'll have to figure out how I can do that. Do you want me to just sit the brake vans on the track and do nothing? I don't know. We've got Twain time, says William Town. I know. Hadn't planned a train time for today, but you got a little bit of it. Yeah, train time, happy birthday and other adventures. Absolutely. That's the trouble with having all these different weird segments I do. Sorry, folks. Oh, Arthur Bagg, say hello to Basil the dog, please. Basil the dog, eh? Not the rat, the dog. Hello, Basil. I don't know, is that going to send him wappy now? We'll see. I can't believe I've just tutted at someone's dog online. Diesel Elevators, thank you so much. I'd like to see the terrifying Ernie Caterpillar chasing a passenger train menacingly down the track. The passenger train is in reverse, running for its life, and I don't blame it. I like that one. I don't think we've had... what did I call it? The diseased caterpillar run for a little while on live stream. So I'm not going to say thank you, but I'm going to say well done for choosing that, and we'll we'll see if it still works, I suppose. Right, RG Models 86. I have labelled the buttons. Yep, the buttons have labels. So I have no excuse other than stupidity for pressing all of the wrong ones. I was just in a bit of a fluster. J&W, shout out to you and Bubbles, no problem. David Molin, what did everyone get for Black Friday? That's a good question. We'll have that question later during the discussion, and people can let us know what they got, whether it's train related or not. Taggart 00, thank you so much for the most enjoyable train. Could you run a rice pudding train? Now, how would I do that? I don't know if that would be enjoyable because it sounds messy, but I don't know, is there such thing as a rice wagon? I don't think so. I don't think I've got one anyway. Maybe there is, I don't know. Sam'sTrains, hello to you. The rail freight guy, get the Christmas wagon out. I've got a Christmas wagon, which is coming out on the last stream to show. So that should be fun. The other thing I've got to do is I'm going to ask you if you can guess what's in this. So I'll give you some clues. Something I like to do, and I'm very privileged to be able to do, is make Christmas presents for people. And so this little black oblong is a box. It's a box to hold something that I have made. And the clue is, it is a model of some sort, but it's not what you might expect. So I can tell you, even though it looks like it's the height of an HO scale person or whatever, it is not one of those. Guesses in the chat, and I will reveal it a little bit later on. So see if you can figure it out. But I just thought I would just show it and see what people think about it. With lots of Christmas comments. Merry Christmas, Sam'sTrains, says Radio Megastar. Merry Christmas to you too. We've got Advent coming up. When's the first event? It's not tomorrow, it's Sunday, isn't it? 1st of December. Wow, that's crazy stuff, isn't it? Zach's Model Railway, hello to you too. Firefield Junction, thank you very much, wants to see the Dapol 59. Yeah, blimey, not run that for a bit. And the Hornby 60 running together, light engine, no problem. That's enjoyable because it won't stress me out setting that one up. So yeah, that's a contender for sure. Tiger Hidden Adam, I thought there was a crouching before your username at one point, Adam. Anyway, thank you to you. You want to see the Q1 pulling a mixed freight. I don't think it's ugly, I quite like it. I like it too, don't get me wrong, I just think it's ugly as well. I like ugly things. Sam'sTrains, another box. That's a head scratcher, says RG Models 86. No one's going to guess. Like, you could try and guess, no one will guess. Because it's not really what you'd expect, like I say. Greetings from Germany, says TEA Tim's Ainsbarn Adventure. Azuma, no, it is not a piano. Incorrect. I would love to see someone do a new Q1, says STE9 Villa E. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I think the only problem with that is the Hornby model isn't bad. It's a little bit lagging behind in terms of features, and you know, it's got an all plastic body and it was tooled up a while ago, so perhaps the tooling's not as crisp as it used to be, but it's still widely regarded generally as a decent model, and Hornby produced a lot of them over the years. So I would say a lot of the people that want a Q1 in 00 have probably already got one. So I don't know how lucrative that would be. And of course, if another, let's say a Curoscale announced one tomorrow, obviously Hornby would probably announce a new batch of them, and then there'd be competition, wouldn't there? So I would love to see one. You know, if someone said we're producing one, would I buy one? Yes. But I don't know. I don't know if it's such a good idea. If Hornby's model was rubbish, then I would say yes, I'd like to, but I actually really like the Hornby model, so I don't know that there's that much of a way to improve on it. Maybe Hornby thinks they could improve on it. You know, the Hornby Coronation class, the Hornby Princess, those were often considered to be great models, and they retooled them recently. And the Princess and the Coronation, they were introduced a handful of years before the original Q1, so it's possible, but I don't know, do Q1s sell as well as Princesses and Coronations? I don't know. But yeah, that's something I would like to see, but I don't know whether we will. Anyway, let's run some trains. So we've got a very simple request, and this comes from Sideways 66779, and that is very simply to see the Wickham trolley. And this crops up occasionally in requests. People just say, I want to see the Wickham trolley, and I'm like, okay then, I can just pop that on the track, and that's nice and easy. This is an interesting one on the middle line from Trainline 5000, who wanted to see the Railroad 47, which is not a great runner. I tested it before the stream. It's struggling quite a bit with the Virgin Mark IIIs and the PCV on the back. Now, obviously, the PCV is for parcels, Royal Mail and such, but it does kind of match the Virgin liveries, which is, I guess, why Trainline decided to do that. But yeah, so that was enjoyable. Never occurred to me to run that. And then Sweet Roll, thank you very much, Sweet Roll, wanted to see the Andrew Barclay pulling a custom wagon and a brake van, but in reverse. So I've got the Christmas wagon out since everybody's talking about Christmas at the moment. So there it is. And speaking of Christmas, me and Chloe have done something a little bit special this year for Advent, and that is going to be a video every single day up until Christmas, starting on Sunday. So if you like me and Chloe, check out those videos. They're going to be in the YouTube Shorts format, and they are also going to be on the Sam'sTrains TikTok. So go follow me on there if that is your preferred way of video consumption. I don't know. Yeah, it's not dreadfully serious. It's not particularly train related, although there is a link. But it's just a bit of silliness. It's a bit of festive fun. And if you want to check it out, feel free. And if you don't like it, that's fine too. You don't have to like it, obviously. You don't have to watch it either, obviously. But yeah, we had fun, and I'm looking forward to you seeing it. There's the Andrew Barclay. Love those engines. I've got another one of those from a Curoscale. Oh, it sounds like they gifted it to me. I bought another one from a Curoscale. I don't review gifts. But it's probably going to be after Christmas before I review that one now. So yeah, stay tuned if you're interested in the current state of the Andrew Barclays, and we'll see what those are like. I've heard that there are issues with the motors becoming disengaged with them, which is odd to me because I never had that problem with a Hatton's example, and in fact I never heard of it. Never heard of that problem with a Hatton's example. So I don't know what's changed that has caused that to happen. Maybe it's a different factory. Maybe it has been modified. I wasn't under the impression that the model had changed at all, but you know, maybe there are small ways in which it has been changed. I don't know, but I am interested now to see, because obviously that suggests that there is some sort of change. But yeah, I'm trying to avoid sort of looking at too much about them, because I do want to sort of, I do like, part of what I enjoy about doing my videos is experiencing things for the first time. So yeah, don't think my silence on the Andrew Barclay is, don't read into it basically. It's just, I've left a very small number of video review slots for this year for the new stuff, and obviously I've had to fill the rest of the slots with reviews, because I don't want to be filming loads of stuff just a couple of days before Christmas, because I'd like to have some days off over Christmas as well. So yeah, that's the reason for that. Anyway, the Wickham trolley is now just coming around to the front, so we shall have a look, and no, we shall not have a look, we shall stop it. I mean, you can have a look while I stop it if you want. Now I'll read some more of these chats. Sam'sTrains says, my Curoscale Barclays been fine so far, I got mine recently, so that's good. Yeah, I assume it isn't all of them, for sure. I just followed you on TikTok, says Spencer James McKibben. Thank you very much. I don't post an awful lot on TikTok, but there's a few things on there if you are interested. Right, Luke Jackson, my Andrew Barclay has a horrible rock to it, and the chassis block is, hang on, to fit DCC clashes with the pipework, which is awful. Yes, yes. Yeah, that is true. The popping out the pipework was a thing on the older models as well. So yeah, that's not new. Super chat, what is a super chat, says Bunzo the Bunny. That is a little $ down in the chat, and it allows you to donate small amounts towards keeping the channel in business, really, continuing to produce content. So if you want to, then feel free. Right, let's now talk a little bit about some of the announcements from the weekend, because there were a couple from Hornby, and I suppose the big one is the J13. So obviously this announced at the exhibition, and I was filming my video there, so I didn't have chance to do my usual sit down and sort of inspection of exactly what the model entails, and there's not a whole lot really that has been revealed so far. I mean, the best information was the samples that they showed and the videos I was able to take of them. But I can talk about what's being produced. So there's 3 versions at the moment from Hornby. They've got the Great Northern one, which obviously we've just seen, but they've also got a post-grouping one, a grouping one in LNER Black, and then there's a post-nationalisation one in the BR Black. And as you can see here, the price is quite hefty, £174.99, and at the retailers it works out at £157.49, which is a typical price. Now, that's about £17 more expensive than the Rapido version. So that's a lot of money, really, isn't it? And obviously Hornby knew Rapido's was out there when they announced theirs, because Rapido's has been announced for a long time. So it makes you wonder what Hornby's has got that is going to justify more money than Rapido's. So I did have a look at the specs to try and figure out what exactly is involved, and there's really not that much there at the moment. There's a few sort of clues though. So first of all, you can see the DCC status is 21 pin. Now that's interesting, isn't it? It makes me wonder why this doesn't have a next 18, and so I'm thinking maybe has this got, you know, a lot of functions to control? So does that mean, well, hopefully it'll have a firebox flicker. Does that mean it's going to have extra functions like working lamps and that kind of thing? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. What other specs have we got on here? The motor apparently is a 5-pole skew wound motor, so that suggests it's going to be a good quality motor. It's also going to have metal sprung buffers, which is good, NEM couplings obviously, and it's compatible with Hornby's HM7000, which means there'll be enough space inside there for the Bluetooth sound decoder, presumably space for a speaker as well, and if we're lucky, there'll be speakers pre-fitted. Now, the other really interesting thing that Hornby announced, and this was overshadowed a little bit by the fact that they announced the J13, but they also announced a load of Class 60s. Now, the interesting thing about this is that obviously there is some duplication here, because Accurascale and Cavalex are also producing a Class 60. But whereas when Hornby duplicated Rapido's J13 and they had that handshaking picture and showed both of their models and said, this is fine, we're avoiding duplication, yeah, no such hint of collaboration with these. And in fact, 2 of the 4 Class 60s that Hornby produced are duplicates of Class 60s already announced by Cavalex. So this one, Ben Nevis, I believe is being produced by Cavalex, and also Brunel, yeah, Isambard Kingdom Brunel, that is also being produced by Cavalex. So that's interesting and unusual, isn't it? It makes me wonder why Hornby chose to reach out to Rapido and agree not to duplicate their products, but not with Cavalex. That's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, I think it's a nice thing to try to avoid product duplication, but it'd be even nicer if they applied it across the board, because, you know, they made quite a big song and dance about not duplicating Rapido's J13s, and then on the same day they've announced duplicates of Class 60s, and the Hornby Class 60 dates back to 2006, I believe. So it's unlikely to be a great competitor against either the Cavalex or the Accurascale 60. I mean, I've seen the Accurascale 60. I know that that is significantly more complex and advanced than the Hornby one. And of course, the price of Hornby's Class 60 does seem quite extreme, given that both of the brand new tooled Class 60s coming out soon are much, much cheaper than this. So yeah, at the retailers, the Hornby 60 works out at £224.99. That's for the DCC ready version, which is £55 more than Accurascale's new version, which of course doesn't date back to 2006. So I don't know what gives there. Like, really? Are people going to be paying that when they can literally choose a Cavalex one or an Accurascale one for less money? I don't know. But something tells me Accurascale and Cavalex are probably not too concerned about that. It just makes you wonder why Hornby have chosen to do this, because obviously the Accurascale and Cavalex models have been, you know, announced for a good long while, and the Hornby model's not a newly developed project, so it's not as though they've just put a load of money into sort of speccing out and tooling a new model, because as far as I know, it's just the same as the previous Hornby model. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting situation, isn't it? Let's see if we've got any thoughts of this on the chat. Let's see. Bunzo the Bunny, I'm only starting. Any tips? Oh, interesting. I do have some videos on getting started with model trains, so if you want my tips, then look that up. If you want other people's tips, get in the chat, folks, and let them know what you would like to, yeah, what you'd like to suggest. Nice to have said hello on Sunday morning. E100. Well, obviously I can't see your face, but it was very nice to have said hello to all the people I said hello to and have our little chats and things. Yeah, it was really lovely. Sam'sTrains, thank you so much. Could you please run an Andrew Barclay of your choice with a Hawthorne Leslie? Oh, that's lovely. Pulling 5 ocean wagons and a brake van. Yes, I could totally do that. And any requests I don't fit into today's stream, I will do next time. So, yep, don't worry about that. Williamtown, yeah, I have to say, for a relatively old model, the price of that does seem quite excessive. I don't really know why they've done it, because surely they can't stand to sell that many in the name of competition. I don't know. RG says, I'm so relieved that the Class 60 is one model I'm not fussed about. Money saved for something else. Well, that's fair enough. Mind you, I suppose you've got a lot of choice, but I don't know that modelers, you know, a lot is made about giving modelers choice, but, you know, I don't know that really having products duplicated is giving modelers more choice, is it? Because if one of them is a good offering, what more choice do modelers need? What would truly be giving modelers more choice would be having one manufacturer producing something different, so that there's 2 different classes of model to choose from rather than 2 of the same ones from 2 different manufacturers. Now that would be better choice. So I hear people, I think it was Rapido was saying, you know, it gives modelers better choice. Well, compared to what? Compared to producing something different? No, I don't think so. But then again, this duplication with the J13 we know was not deliberate. Both manufacturers were legitimately, I think, producing the J13s at the same time before the announcement. So in this case, I don't think that was deliberate. With the Class 60s, it's a bit harder to make a case that that wasn't deliberate, because at least with the Cavalex one, that has been announced for a good long time now. But we'll see how it pans out, and I wonder if the Hornby 60 will be in next year's Black Friday sales. Possibly. Depends how many they make though. I mean, if they commission thousands, that would make them insane, wouldn't it? So presumably that the numbers aren't going to be that massive. But you never know, you never know. Anyway, do you like the Hornby Grange? Says haha craft. Yeah, I like it. It's a relatively old model now, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Mine's a bit of a poor runner, but I bought it second hand from Hatton's, I think, and it wasn't the greatest in the world motor-wise. I don't think I've had to swap the motor though. It's one of those that limps along without dying, so I thought, well, I won't waste a new motor on it then. Anyway, as promised, I've got some more clips from the exhibition. I keep wanting to say Wally, and I say Wally in this clip because some of it is behind the scenes stuff that we hadn't planned to put out, but it's amusing or whatever, so I've put it in there. Right, enjoy, here we go. Here we've got the Hornby LNER Coronation coaches, which just look fantastic. I believe these are possibly even out by the time you see this video, but yeah, great looking coaches. Right, she's having a go with the high-speed train. It is fast, isn't it?
There's a new locomotive I might be interested in the future. I go to your rating to see what sort of ratings you would give.
Oh, cool. Oh, well, I'm glad it's useful. That's really lovely to hear when people find it helpful. Here we have the Kato or Kato stand with what they're calling the Circus on Tour. So this is made up of lots of mini dioramas which are all linked together into a big layout, in fact a couple of big layouts, and some of this stuff is just absolutely crazy. It is well off the wall. Look, there's even Sylvanian family, is that what they're called? The little mice? I don't know, you know, people say you should do whatever you want with your model railway, and I think this will test what a lot of people are willing to put up with, but me, I think this is just awesome. How creative is that? Here we are at the KR model stand looking at the Claytons. Lovely little diesels. Can't quite tell if their cabs are very realistic though. It looks as though there's some sort of visible circuitry inside there. I could be wrong though. I'll have to wait until these come out and we get a closer look at that. I like this layout, tram link. Tiny, tiny little layout. The working tram just doing a passenger service. Beautiful little simple layout. Yeah.
Like it actually moves on the wire though.
Yeah.
Sorry, my big hand's in it.
It's alright. Cabbage. No, that's the cabbage. So, welcome to Gordon's Garden. we've got cabbages, we've got berries. I mean, a lot of it is a little bit too hard to tell what they are, but there's certainly crops. Crops are plenty, and there's Shrek's outhouse, which I must say I like.
So we've just stopped for our lunch, and here's some sandwich in all its glory.
It's what you call a battered chicken sandwich.
And here's the rest of the food. Sam went for grapes this year because of the pineapple incident of 2023.
Here we are at Rapido, a last look at the Jones goods before it comes out. Hopefully this is going to be ready before Christmas. This is the yellow one, which is a very odd livery, but I have to say I like it a lot. They've also got a print here of their Midland 483 class. This is just a 3D print, so maybe, well, it may have gone to tooling, but they certainly don't have any shots from the tooling to show at the moment. But yeah, beautiful looking model. Hopefully this time next year there'll be a lot more progress on that. Here's also a look at the S160 by Rapido. Fantastic looking wartime loco this, and this is clearly a shot from the tooling, which means this is now in the later stages of development, and they even have a running sample of this as well, so the engineering prototype is all good to go. Also, here's another shot of the Rapido Evolution coaches. Yeah, amazing coaches these, and I think once they've got their liveries, these will be even more impressive. And you've got to think there's a lot of different liveries for Evolution, so it's going to take up a lot of space on Rapido's stand when they do that, but I think it'll be worth it. Hey up, boss. How are you doing? You got it all here then?
Yeah.
So this is our third, is it our third Wally trip?
Yeah.
Calling it Wally. That doesn't matter because this isn't being published. We're going to look and see if we can bend some peanuts. What then?
That'll be it for the rest of the evening now.
Peanuts! Well, there you go then, folks. Nice work. And don't look up the Peanut Vendor song because A, it's creepy, and B, it will get stuck in your head and you will not ever get it out again. I discovered it about 2 years ago and I still sing it every single day. So just don't do it, I'm warning you. Anyway, let's do a little bit of a show and tell then. So let me reveal what is inside the little box. Now, I'm going to put a warning out there just in case Chloe is watching this. Chloe, hello, shout out, just in case you are. This is a gift for your mother, so if your mother's around and you're watching this, switch off the stream. I don't want to give it away and spoil the surprise. Right, so hopefully she's done that. I should have probably checked, but I only decided to do this recently. Alright, so what is this then? So Chloe's mother has a doll's house, and so every Christmas I make little doll's house furniture, and I've made this little box to hold the item in just so that it doesn't get damaged unnecessarily. But yeah, what I made is a little clock, and the crazy thing about this is that you see the hands inside, and compared with the size of my finger, yeah, those hands, those are a separate part. Those are actually not just printed on. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can. You can see that those are separate parts, as are the little feet. And it's fully realistic all the way around, little hole in the back. So yeah, this is a clock that Chloe's mum owns, and she's a fan of it. This is embarrassing for her, but it's because it looks like that clock from Beauty and the Beast. I forget what it's called now. But yeah, it looks like that, which is why she likes it. So I thought I'll make a doll's house scale, so it's 1/12 scale of this little clock. And I've done quite a few, actually. I don't think I've showed them all, but I made a full-size piano once and a piano stool. What else did I do? Oh, a rocking horse. Yeah, I did a little model rocking horse. And a little box that fits it perfectly so that it doesn't get messed around and broken. So there you go. I'd bet nobody guessed that. If anyone guessed a clock, I would be amazed. But yeah, thank you, David. Amazing little clock. I'm impressed, Nova Blaze. This is something I've figured out. I actually just love making models, and it doesn't have to be of trains. just the process of thinking about how to make a model and then creating it and printing it and painting it, it's just something I love, and so it's quite exciting that it doesn't have to be a train for me. I think my favourite stuff is a train to make. I say a train, engines, rolling stock, all that, but it doesn't have to be. I can enjoy other things, which is great. Anyway, what did I buy from Worley? Not Worley, the exhibition, the National Festival of Railway Modelling. It used to be that I would come back with a bag full of stuff, but 3 Oxford wagons, which you saw me buy in the video, is all I came out with this time, and Chloe picked some of these. So I will briefly just show you what they are. So we've got Kobo here. I think Chloe picked this one, but I like this one because it reminds me of a Kobo, the diesel from Thomas, or Boko. Is it Boko or Kobo? I forget now. But anyway, it reminded me of that. The second one is, I think, the same wagon, but in a very different livery. So Milner, Thomas and Co, which I like. And then this, the 6-wheel Toad, which I don't have. I've got a 4-wheeler, but not a 6-wheeler. And the crazy thing about it was Oxford were selling 3 wagons for £25. Now, if you thought a tenner was cheap for a modern, decent wagon, try £25 for 3. That's £5 off a tenner, which is cheap. So yeah, astonishing. I couldn't resist that, and I think that was among the only stuff I bought last year. I just couldn't resist it. Anyway, let me get me some more trains running for you. So we've got a request here from Mayo Hosco. This is, yeah, on the outside line, who wanted to see Mallard and then a whole load of totally miscellaneous coaches, and you'll see those as it goes past. William Soutar wanted to see this one. This is again quite scary. 3 Atlantics in a triple header with a couple of teaks and a couple of southern coaches. Hopefully that won't derail, because from William Town we have my problem class. So I talk about the models I like to build. That's the latest model I did, the latest loco, because they take so long. I've just not had time to do another since. But because of how fragile it is, it does frighten me to run it a bit. So I'm hoping all will be okay with it. And I think what I'll do is I'll get the other trains out the way first before I start it, just in case there are any issues. And then we'll have a very brief run with the problem class, which I've not run for a while actually. Again, it's one of those things where I'm a bit scared to take it out of the cabinet in case I damage it. But I never have so far. We need to go that way. Well, it works. Now, whether it can haul 4 coaches is another thing, because it is quite light and obviously has a single wheeler. It's attractively challenged. I don't know if that makes sense at all, probably not. But you know what I mean, it's not a good hauler, which is the English way of saying it. Why I didn't say that in the first place, I have no idea. But yeah, it's quite happy actually. I should imagine it's rather enjoying stretching its legs, and it's catching up very nicely with the Atlantics too, which is a little concerning, but I guess if there's going to be an accident I better catch it on camera. Oh, and I did. Oh man, what happened there? Let's see if I can put it back on. I say how fragile it is. I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, obviously if you dropped it, it would destroy it. But obviously I don't think derailments are an issue really. I probably haven't run it on this track before, to be fair. It usually runs on the outside line, so I don't know. It's a dodgy wheel configuration, obviously, and mine's not a 222. It's really a 240, because obviously the rear wheels are driven as well. So it's a very, very strange model. But yeah, usually it seems to work, and it's not a professional model, of course. Let's have a look, see if we can get it on this camera. Hopefully it will survive. Well, it managed those 4 coaches all right. I know that's not much of an achievement, but of course it's a homemade job, so it's not ever so heavy. Oh, it is struggling now though. I spoke too soon. Come on. It's done it though. Well, I'm glad she still works. Yeah, it's a very odd loco that, which is why I decided to make one. I'll give you a little look at it just in case anyone's not seen it before, because I'm quite proud of it. Let's see. I don't like carrying this thing around, man. It's got a lot of details. I think the thing is, with professional models, obviously manufacturers realise that they've got to put it in a blister pack and have it ship halfway across the world, so they design it with that in mind. Yeah, I didn't design this with that in mind, and you can see just how small some of these parts are, unsupported bits. Yeah, I would not want to ship this anywhere. But yeah, there it is. Let's see if we can get a look at the cab. Yeah, it was a fun project, this. Did enjoy it. All done from scratch, of course, from the L&WR. So yeah, there we go. And I'm going to pop it back in the cabinet just so that it's safe. I know. I'm as protective over this loco as a mother is over her children, if not possibly more so. But yeah, it really did take months to make. So if I can help it, I don't want to have any sort of accidents with it. Okay. Oh, nearly did have an accident then. All right, it's back in the cabinet. I can breathe again. Whew. No, I didn't like that. Well, I do like it. It was nice to see it run. I've not done that for a while, but I didn't enjoy the prospect of potentially buggering it up. Right, let's bring these to a stop then. There's Mayo's mallard train, and I think it will be easier to pop this into a siding rather than try and take the coaches off right now. Famous last words, because I reckon something will probably derail when I do this, but you know, we have to give these things a chance, and then I'll regret it. But so far so good. Thank you, Atlantics. Now that is impressive. I was so wrapped up worrying about my problem class that I didn't really pay attention to the fact that we've got 3 Atlantics with bogies at the front. So, you know, if you're double heading a loco with a bogie, that's really asking for trouble. And yet none of those came off. Excellent work, Bachmann Atlantics. I'll deal with those in a little while. All right. Oh, that is pleasing. All right, let's have a little chat then. Black Friday. Anybody picked anything good up from Black Friday? I should say, Hornby have some really good deals. Yeah, insanely good. It's not something that they used to do in previous years, and for good reason, because obviously retailers buy models in good faith, and then if Hornby discount them, people will buy them from Hornby instead of the retailers who have them still at the higher prices. So, you know, there are issues with this, but from a customer's point of view, and we are customers, it is nice to get such good bargains. So there's a turbo motive on there, which is slashed. There's a beautiful, very smart looking black Ruston, which is down to 65, 70 quid. Really, really good price for that. What else was there? Train sets. Yeah, there were some train sets in there. So if you're interested in getting a train set for Christmas, today's probably a good time to do it. And there's other Black Friday gubbins going on as well. A lot of the retailers have Black Friday sales. Rails have a spin to win wheel going on, which I thought was interesting. So you spin it, it's, I don't know what the gifts were. I mean, I spun it and got free delivery. So, you know, it's a gift of £4, I suppose. I think, and there was a few other gifts as well on there. I forget now what they were. But yeah, check them out if you're interested in model railway bargains. They can be had today, so yeah, keep an eye out for those. Anyway, has anybody else picked up anything interesting for Black Friday? If you'd like to share it, let us know. So RG Models 8 to 6 is saving money as Hornby have locomotion number 1 on the way. Yep, they do indeed. And unfortunately, that isn't going to be in the Black Friday sale, is it? And I predict they'll probably be gone by this time next year. So yeah, maybe that's not one to hold out for with the hopes of the prices coming down. No, I didn't get some Hornby HSTs from the Black Friday sale, Azuma, but yeah, I did see them. They've got the silver one. I forget what livery it is now, namely. But yeah, Taggart got the Ruston, very nice, and some Scaledale buildings. Yeah, there was buildings on there. There was also the steampunk locos. I could not believe they still had those around, but they do, and they're down to about $12.99 now. And it's worth, you know, it's worth $12.99 just for a new chassis, because they've got brass gears as well, worm drives, I should say. So that's cool. Luke Jackson got himself an Acura Scale Siphon G from Rails for £34. Couldn't resist. And 4-wheel wagons for that price from Bachmann. Can't get 4-wheel wagons for that price from Bachmann, maybe means. Yeah, well, that's a good price. And I did see there were some deals on Acura Scale as well. Yeah, wagon packs down to 50-something pounds. Very good. There's some very, very good deals to be had this time. I've not really picked anything up. I did pick up a Helgen 57. That wasn't today. I did that the other day, so I didn't get my free postage on it, unfortunately. I don't know whether that's going to be any good or not, but, you know, I like to review things, so it doesn't really matter if it's bad. It'll be fun to review it either way. And if it's good, then great. I'll get a good model out of it. EBR Railway picked up a Bachmann Oliver, and, well, that's cool. And speaking of the Bachmann Thomas and Friends range, I hear Rebecca has been released as well. So would people like to see that reviewed? Or her, I should say, not a that. Very insulting. Oh, Azuma, yeah, it's the Queen Elizabeth livery. That was the HST. Yes, you're correct. The train guy picked up a steampunk one. Well, thank you, the train guy, for taking one for the team. Thanks to your efforts, there may come a time where we don't have to see them on Hornby's website anymore. It might take many a year, and maybe none of us will be alive to see the day, but we're one step closer, and for that, we all thank you. Thank you, that train guy, or the train guy. EBR Railway got a Bachmann Oliver for 70 quid. Now that's not bad. That's a very, very good deal. I think, sorry, was it 70 quid? I think he said $70. That's an even better deal. I think I paid more than £70 for it. Oh, I've lost it now. But yeah, anyway, £70 or dollars. That's pretty good. Where's my Christmas request, Kelly? Says. Well, hopefully you'll see. I forget when that came through now. If you sent it last week, it'll be coming up soon. I've got more requests to do. If not, if you sent it as a member, it will be done before the end of the series. But anyway, I've got some Wall of Fame things to show. This one's from Colin G, which is a beautiful layout with some excellent controls here as well. So it looks like we've got motorized points, which is nice and realistic, and good use of the space there. It's obviously a narrow section of model railway, but we've got a lot of track there, but not too much. I think obviously sometimes when there's a small amount of space, people try to cram as much track in as they can. And you know, if all you want to do is shunt, then obviously that's a great idea. But if you want to set a scene, then just leaving a bit of space for buildings and scenery is a really lovely thing to do and a smart thing to do. So yeah, good use of the space there. I say as if I'm an authority in any way when it comes to layout building, but I think I can recognise what looks good. And then I like this. We've got, first of all, this. What on earth is this? I've not seen that before. East Anglia Transport Museum. I'm going to cough. Hang on, let me go for a quick break. There you go. How considerate was that? Shortest break in Sam'sTrains history, and you also didn't have your eardrums burst by me coughing. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, there's that, and then this. This comes from Connor W. I hope you didn't forget, well, I hope you didn't, yeah, forget to, sorry, I got confused somehow, I don't know what confused me there, to remove the wagon afterwards, Connor, otherwise that would have been a very unfortunate mess. But yeah, that did catch my eye, actually, for obvious reasons. And if you'd like to have a picture up on the wall of train, you can email it to me at samstrains@outlook.com. It can be layouts like this, it can be things you've seen on your journeys, or you can just draw or create something from scratch. Anything you like, I'll show it in a live stream. Well, obviously, if it involves nakedness or any similar skullduggery, then I can't. But if it's within reason, I will show it on these live streams. So yes, you have been warned. Anyway, with that, I've got some requests left over from last week, so here they come. Hope you enjoy them. Up first then, we have a request I really enjoy. It's from William Soutar 506, and William wanted to see Lord of the Isles with clerestories. So I've actually gone with the sort of new Lord of the Isles locomotive, the one that Hornby released in the Triang Remembered set not too long ago, because that one's got a slightly better mechanism which makes it run a bit more slowly and more realistically. So thank you, William Soutar. ECD wanted to see the Quarry Hunslet with some old style four-wheel coaches. Well, I'd forgotten this, or maybe I didn't realise at all, but yeah, the Bachmann NG7 Quarry Hunslet does have NEM pockets. So I just popped out the NG7 coupling, popped in a tension lock, and lo and behold, it was just about at the right height to couple up to 00 scale rolling stock. So can I do that? Yes, I can. So that's awesome. It's good to know, actually. Then Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, I think I overlooked this one really as one of the most creative requests of the stream last time. Because yeah, Hendrick wanted to see the Hornby Grey Hush Hush with a breakfast train. So hauling eggs, bacon, toast and milk. So I think I've been able to do all of that. Egg van, pork van, mighty white bread, well, you know, it becomes toast. And of course a milk tanker at the back. So William Sutar 506, ECD and Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, thank you so much for those awesome requests. Up next then we have a request from Sparky129 who wanted to see a double header between the new NER H-Class and the Hornby L&YR Pug, hauling a rake of ocean wagons. Now, we've not seen the ocean wagons for a really long time. These used to be an absolute staple on these live streams, so pretty good to see these back. Up next we have yet another request from ECD Railroad, and it's yet another double header, C1 and Henry. So I do actually get this one, yeah, because I think Henry originally was supposed to be a C1, wasn't he? So it's a little bit like him connecting with his former self perhaps, and ECD wanted these two to haul some teaks, which I've done. Then Phantom 66 Kempo wanted to see a pretty lovely sort of preservation era train, if you like, and that is the Merchant Navy with some Pullmans and a Class 47 as a banker at the back. Yeah, love this. This is a request I used to get fairly often actually, but I've not seen it for a little while. So yeah, nice to see something like this. Definitely the sort of train that I would love a ride on in real life. But there we go, massive thank you to Sparky129, ECD Railroad and Phantom 66 Kempo. The next request comes from Rolls-Royce, who wanted to see the ocean wagons again, which is awesome. This time though with just one locomotive hauling them, the Hawthorne Leslie. And Rolls wanted to see the Hawthorne haul as many of these ocean wagons as possible, and well, because of what a beast it is, and even though these wagons have loads of drag to them, it's hauling them all, as you can see, up Gordon's Hill. What an amazing loco that thing is. Tom Wood wanted to see the P2 double heading with an A4, which is a great combination, I like that, with 14 coaches made up of Mark 1s, teaks or both. Well, I don't have 14 Mark 1s or teaks, but putting them together I do. So there you go, Tom Wood, thank you very much for that request. And then the next one comes from Miles, who I met at the exhibition at the weekend. I want to say, Miles, thank you so much for your generosity, really do appreciate it. And you wanted me to run something that I like, one of my favourite trains. Well, I think my favourite train is the H1 and the Pullmans. Yep, love that. So to Miles, thank you so much. Also, Tom Wood and Rolls-Royce, really do appreciate your support. You guys are the best. Up next we have another request from William Sutar, who wanted to see the Accuroscale and the Bachmann Class 66 teaming up with some mega boxes. So there we go, thank you so much for that request, William Sutar. A bit of a modern image request. I think most of them are sort of steam era or sort of older diesels. So yeah, nice to see something a bit more modern. Here's an interesting one from Al's Yard. He wanted to see some of the best models, so the P-Class and the Midland 1P, firing on some of 00's worst models with a railgun. The worst models, according to Al, being the Helgen Tango and the Bradford Exchange Royal Tatmobile. So, I think the gun is locked and loaded. Here we go. We're going to fire in 3, 2, 1. Marvellous. Bang and the dirt was gone, am I right? And then finally, an interesting one from J&W Studios, who wanted to see an N-scale 64 pannier tank on a Warwell on an O-scale wagon, so I've gone for a Warwell, thought that made sense, being hauled along by a 14XX in O-gauge. So with that, here we go. Love this idea, to be fair. A merging of 3 totally different scales. So to Al's Yard, William Sutar and J&W Studios, thank you so much for your requests. Let's go back live. I tell you what folks, we do get some mileage out of that explosion effect, don't we? Goodness me. Right, I'm tired because I've just been running around setting trains up and putting things away and stuff. So yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'm just, oh dearie me, it's a bit like a, I don't know what you'd call it. It's some sort of acrobatics, because these beams produce quite a challenge when there's all cameras set up. So I'm sort of snaking my way around them and stuff, specifically round here. Oh, I've left that open. I don't like that, just in case it falls down. Yeah. trying to get to the coaches through here, I have to sort of like try and squeeze. I'm not going to squeeze through because it'll be visually horrifying, but you know what I mean. Trying to get to those coaches with the camera. You know, the coaches are right behind you where the camera is. So yeah, I've got to try and do that without messing up the camera, because obviously technical issues then will ensue. So I don't know. It's tiring. This is the point. There's a roundabout way of saying it. Anyway, Jane W says, yeah, that's my request. Also, oh, did you see it? Or was that might have been one in the clip? I don't know. Anyway, I am exhausted, Kelly. Yes, I am. My best diesel is a 47, says Cop 448. I am a real cop. Are you really? I better watch my words then. Parkour with Sam, says Nova Blaze. Yes, if parkour was incredibly underwhelming and disappointing, then yes. Don't call us, we'll call you, that sort of thing. Anyway, I wonder if trying locos can beat the new models in a race in strength and detail. Ooh, I could make a prediction. A race in strength, yes, possibly. Although some of Hornby's sort of die-cast models, I don't think they would beat the Trying. I don't think Trying would beat those. In detail, yes, certainly not. I don't think any of Trying's models were detailed by today's standards. But of course, at the time, they were pretty fair. Because of the moulded plastic, I think they were a little bit more detailed than the Hornby Dublo stuff. Yeah, because the Dublo stuff was all sort of die-cast, so you found that the rivets and stuff all looked a little bit chunky because sort of early die-cast, it's not as good as the die-casting you get today. So I think, yeah, that they could do a bit more with the plastic than they could with the metal. So yeah, I think back in the day, the Trying stuff was a little bit better proportioned than what else was available. I mean, there were better models than Trying, but yeah, for my money, they weren't as good a quality as the Hornby Dublo and the Wren stuff, but I prefer them. I really prefer them, and mechanically they're much nicer and simpler to work with as well. And obviously these days there's loads of those XO4 and XO3 motors available, so you can still maintain them quite easily. You can still get the Wren motors and stuff, but they're a pain to disassemble. They really are, and you've got to adjust them right, and they're not as nice as the Trying stuff personally. But obviously, I suppose you base your opinions on whatever you grew up with, don't you? So people that grew up with Wren and Dublo, lucky you, first of all, they probably would say that those were better, and in some ways they were. You know, it's a bit subjective, isn't it? I grew up with neither, but I experienced Trying first, so I guess I have fondness for that, and it's Trying models that really taught me how to service and maintain stuff. So yeah, I really do have a soft spot for them. Right, should we debate how useful Thomas the Tank Engine really is, says William Town. You can if you want. I don't want to get lynched. We do have a cop in the house who might be able to help, but yeah, I'm not going to discuss that. I could say I think Thomas is useful. He's useful as an engine. He's also useful as a method of entertainment, isn't he? What's the best model you own, says Xander Tignor. That's a good question. I think objectively the best one I can think of at this second would be the Dapol Hawthorne Leslie. Yeah, it's just a brilliant, brilliant model. Thoroughly enjoyed reviewing it, and whenever anybody requests it, I get very excited because I just know that it won't let me down. I can set it going, and it's the same with a lot of the 040s, to be fair. You can just set them going and off they'll go. I suppose with that one in particular, it doesn't stop on the points all the time either, which is less common for an 040, I think. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and run some final trains then. So we have Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, who wanted to see the grey Hush Hush with the H1, a dynamometer car, a teak coach, and an LBSC coach to match the two locos. So let's do that. Then Train Boy, I think it was Train Boy, can't really read what I've written, I hope it was, wanted to see Thomas with the N-Gauge Thomas on a flatbed. I think he said pushing it along, but unfortunately Thomas doesn't have a front coupling, so I'm going to do him hauling it. Dear Thomas. So my Thomas isn't currently very useful on the back of that conversation. Oh, there we go. Just needed a bit of more power, I guess, because that was 50 and he was hardly moving. And then Simeon Jackson simply wanted brake vans. I don't really know what to do about this. I guess what I will do is push them along for a little while. Hang on. Just a second, I need to switch camera. Yeah, a lap like this would take a long time, so I'm not going to do that. Especially in case Out of Context is watching. Yeah, an impossible train. I suppose everything else I run can only be described as extremely unlikely. Whereas this really can't be done, because there is no hand of God in real life. Oh, I looked at the camera to do a foolish face, and I immediately regretted it. Right, Simeon Jackson, technically I have run a train of brake vans. Alright, let's give them a shove, see if we can get them back. Yes, more or less. And in the meantime, Thomas has picked up speed. He seems to be a little bit more lively now, which is good. And the Hush Hush and the H1, they seem to be slow but steady. There we go. So it's quite a moment really, the two Thomases meeting. I don't think I've put them together before. Waiting for them to turn up. There they are. And that wagon is unreviewed as of yet. I mean, I've filmed the review, but it's not gone out yet. I don't know when it will go out. But there it is anyway. You might be able to see it better from here. There we go. Cameras are working nicely today. I did get that new capture card so that it's all working properly now. And I can say that because we're into the last few minutes of the stream, so it wouldn't be a disaster if it failed. So camera, if you're thinking of letting me down, don't bother, I won't care. Well, I will care, but it won't be crucial. Anyway, let me go through and thank all of my generous super chatters for the day. So if you sent in a super chat today and I didn't read it out, I apologise for that. Obviously I do get quite a few, but I do really appreciate them. And I do go through at the end of the stream afterwards and read them all properly. But just to mention everybody, we have Sam'sTrains. Thank you very much for yours. I left your request out deliberately because I want to do that for next time, because you want to see me accidentally leave a gunpowder van on the O-scale track and oh no, an OH shunter and an auto coach are headed straight for it. This is a request. So presumably we need the explosion the explosion effect, which I can't do live, so that's the reason for that. William Sutar, thank you to you. William Town, Hendrix Motorsports Fan 5, A2020 Vision, Train Boy, thank you so much. You've got yours going right now. Simeon Jackson, thank you to you. Diesel Elevators, Taggart 00, I like that rice pudding idea. Firefield Junction, thank you for your 59 request. Tiger Hidden Adam, Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5. Phantom 66 Kempo, thank you very much. You wanted to see the Class 43 HST with the longest train I have. ECD Railroad, the 00A4 pulling the TTA4 on a Pilchard or a flatbed. Do you think it would fit on the Pilchard? I'll have to try. And an N-Scale A4 on a Turbot. Now, I think that would fit. Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5 again. Stan Does Trains, thank you so much. You know, I really do like that one, Stan. Yeah, I did say that I would give the wagon to the most enjoyable requester, and the Andrew Barclay with the Hawthorne Leslie and the Ocean Wagons, a live stream classic. That's the best I've seen so far, but let me keep reading. Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5 again, thank you so much. Class 58 says Trainline 5000. Well, you got a choice, the Hornby one or the Helgen one. J&W Studios, all the C1 and the V2 with Teaks, that's a nice idea. And Kelly Ashford as well, thank you so much. And yeah, I think we will give it to Stan. So Stan, if you want to choose some of the wagons I've got, except for the Ricket one, yeah, send me an email, let me know your delivery address, and I'll get that sent off to you next week. Up next in terms of... Oh no, I left that camera on. Sorry folks, that must have been dull to watch. Sorry, I've gone and coughed now. That cough crept up on me. Yeah, next week, next review, an impressive, very impressive bit of engineering from Bachmann, which I'm excited for you to see. And then on Monday, I am doing yet another Sam'sTrains product launch. I'm very excited because I've been working on this stuff since the summer, and finally it's going to go out. So I'm going to be announcing 5 new models, a new accessory and some mystery boxes, and they're going out at Monday night at 5:30, so don't miss it. Yeah, hopefully you'll be quite pleased with what I'm releasing, because yeah, I'm really excited by them. And of course the next stream is going to be Friday, so I'll see you there if you want to come and join me for another. But for now, thank you so much for joining. Thank you all so much for your super chats. And Trainline 5000 says the Hornby one, please. Yeah, that's fine. That's the worst of the two, but no problem, I can do that. But yeah, folks, thank you so much. I hope you have a great week, and happy Advent for Sunday if you celebrate such things. And if you do, don't forget to check out those videos that me and Chloe have done. For now though, I'll see you next Friday. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, folks. Hey folks, thank you all very much for tuning in for another episode of Sam's Trains Live. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with another episode very soon, but in the meantime, please enjoy the videos that I'll be posting on my channel till then, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks again for your support, folks, and take care of yourselves.